is the case, the question is, what motivates agile teams? As in, what motivates people, especially agile teams? And is money the case? And if not money, what else? So what I want to do is have this quiz, right? Poll. So I'm going to activate a poll, and I hope you can see it. And it's a multiple choice question. So what I need you to do is to spend about the next couple of minutes. Choose three. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. We have 9 different characteristics of what do you think will motivate your team to be more agile. I just presented some of the characteristics of high-performing agile teams. So if you need people to be, say, more collaborative, have the initiative, solve problems, focus on team goals, etc. What do you think will tend to be key factors to motivate your people to be more in that way? Right, so I'll give you about 30 more seconds and just click on the top 3 that you think it is and just press submit. Right, is it give them more variable monetary rewards if they do A and they get rewarded, give more money. Give them more flexible work hours and option to work remotely. Train them to upskill them to have the right skills to do the work, get work done. Empowering them to make key decisions or relevant decisions. Give them more resources from an organization point of view. Being supportive and collaborative throughout the organization. So from organization-wise, if they need to do something, how do you move the organization, help them? Provide clear plans, instructions, and work processes, or give frequent and timely feedback and verbal recognition. Right? Oh yeah, there's one more. It's one more below. Give them a cozy, nice environment with free food, free gym, snooker, and so on. All right. So it's about 2 minutes. So I'm going to start the poll and share the results. Okay. Wow, a lot of people say timely feedback, frequent and timely feedback. That's great. And let me see what's number 2. Number 2 is monetary rewards. We'll see too about that. No one wants a cozy environment, and low on, not really high on everything else. I think after supportive, we have a couple of people, talking about being supportive and collaborate throughout the organization, clear plans, etc. We'll find out. We'll talk a bit about the motivation, and then we'll come back to everybody's answers, and then we'll find out. So, oops, So let's look at what is motivation and how people are being motivated. Motivation is just 2 English words. One is motive and the other one is action, right? So you have motive and action, and that's motivation. So what is motive then? Motive is basically if you want to do something, if I were to get you to do something, before you decide to do or not to do, some things will be happening in your mind. You may want to think about, if you want to try to do something, what are the chances of success? Multiply by, if I succeed, what's in it for me? And payoff can be material, can be non-material. Payoff can be external, as in I pay you something, or it can be external but not material, like I give you verbal recognition, I give you a certificate, I give you a trophy. So it can be external, or it can be internal. I ask you to do something, you think whether you can succeed or not, and think about, do you have a sense of satisfaction? Can you achieve things like work-life balance? So it can be internal, and it can be external, it can be material and non-material, right? Coming back to chances of success, if you think the chances of succeeding is 0, you will not try. You'll not even try, right? So if I say that I'll give you $1 million US if you climb to the top of whatever tall building and jump down and survive, I'll give you $1 million, right? A lot of people will say no, because they'll be perceived of zero chances of success. But of course, just some digress a little bit, sorry. There are people who are very smart and they say that, oh, so if you are paying me $1 million to jump down from a tall building, what I will do is I will spend a tenth of that, $100,000, and get myself some air mattress at the bottom, at the base, at the ground floor, and get myself a parachute as well, so that I increase my chances of surviving the fall, and then net back $900,000, right? So I'm just looking at ways to increase my chances of succeeding. So those are key things of how people are motivated, divided by the amount of effort that I need to do it. Right? So people are always looking at, if I try something, can I succeed? If I succeed, what do I get in return? And how much effort do I need to put in? If the less effort I need to put in, the more I'm keen to do it. Right? So these are various things. Now, why is it that in my choices just now, I put in training, upskilling, support? These are things that we look into the amount of effort as well as chances of success. If I don't have the right skills, if I don't have the right resources, if I'm not empowered to do certain things, I may end up needing to spend more effort, or worse still, my chances of success may go really, really low. Right? So, and as a result, I may be demotivated to do something. So, any questions? Oh, no poll results? Okay. Rudy, I don't know why you can't see the poll, because I could see the poll. Anyway, I'll see if I can retrieve the poll, and I'll share with you. No worries about it. Anyone with questions so far? Especially if you came in just now. I'll see what I can do with the polls and other information. So if you have questions or comments, feel free, raise your hand and unmute yourself, or type into the chat box. Yep. And again, I just need to let you know, because it's been half an hour here, so I'm going to cover a lot of things, a lot of information in a quick pace. So just so we're talking about, we're always assessing, do I get the right support? Am I being enabled to do something before I want to do something? So that's one part of motivation. Then the motivation that a lot of us are very familiar with, Maslow hierarchy of theory. Basically, people will have different levels, different layers of motivation. And we have some basic needs. They need to be fulfilled before we go to a higher need. So the most basic need is like basic life needs: air, drink, food, warmth, shelter. The key things, there's this thing called OD tools. This is our what we call assessment tool to assess the motivation levels of different people. Right? We use that to assess to do assessments of motivation levels. We usually, whether it's on the tool or even in leading our teams, even if we're talking about motivating agile teams, people generally have that survival tools. So the very basic motivation are already been satisfied. So we don't really go into that. We will go into the higher needs, things like, do you have a need for safety, personal safety, as well as job safety? And then social needs, you have need for acceptance, recognition, and then esteem as in status, position, success, and then more things. So what are all these needs? Well, we can classify them into about 15 different needs. So the lower needs can be material needs. Money is actually a lower needs in terms of security. Now, we may or may not agree that some people will say, oh, money is enough, and some people will say money is never enough. We may or may not agree with that. We just want to put into perspective that sometimes material needs tend to be more lower, more basic, and there will be higher needs as we can see over here, needs for recognition, for autonomy, work-life balance, sense of mission, excellence, and so forth. Now, how does it relate to the question earlier on? How do you want to motivate people to be more agile? Right, the key thing is not just motivate people, but you want to be motivating them to be more agile. Because we require people to be self-motivated. Let me show the characteristics of high-performing agile teams. And one of the key things is people in high-performing agile teams, one of the key requirements is they'll be more self-motivated. They are team players. They focus on team results. So on that sense, they are likely to value things that are on the right-hand side, intrinsic needs. Do you give them enough autonomy? Can they make their own decisions on critical things? Do you give them enough challenge, right? Do they have that sense of achievement and so on? So those are the things. And even on the extrinsic needs, are they given the right power, again, to move things, to work as a team, to be able to move company resources? So these are some of the things. And again, what I've shown here is just a sample of the assessment we did it on some random person. This is not necessarily what an agile person will need. But the purpose of me illustrating this is just to show that there is extrinsic and there are intrinsic needs. There are external and internal factors. For external factors, these are things that managers need to do. You need to provide them, and then they will be motivated. For the internal things, these are things that you need to create the environment as an organization, and then they will, if they have those needs, they will find their own motivation. And that's how we meant by self-motivated. So part of it is also learning. They need to learn the skills, whether it's through self-learning or you provide training or whatever. They need to learn something. They have the skills, and then they feel motivated, right? So these are some of the issues at play. Generally, if you are looking at variable pay, less of that for agile teams. If you're looking at motivating agile teams, they are more likely to be paid kind of a good base salary. They're happy with that. They got no complaints about it. And everything else, it's more about, are they stimulated by having the autonomy, the sense of achievement? Can they overcome a challenge? Do they like working with teams? Can they collaborate? That sort of things, right? The organization also needs to be more collaborative. As in, do you provide the kind of team support from an organization to help them get things done? So those are the things that is a bigger challenge these days if you really want to transform your organizations to be more agile. Right? So those are some of the things. We have this idea of what is called tux and shovel. Tux means certain things that if you don't do, people will feel it's okay. It's not a big deal. But if you provide it, they will be more motivated. And then on the other hand, there are certain things that below the tux is what we call a shovel. Are certain things that if you provide more, people don't necessarily feel more motivated to do more things. But on the other hand, if you don't provide it, they will be feeling very demotivated, right? So this is what we call a tux and shovel. And from some other research, what we found is generally in teams, again, this is not necessarily just agile teams, but teams in general. Performing teams in general, people tend to be more, if you're able to give them a greater sense of achievement, recognition, the work itself, and the sense of responsibility. People tend to feel more motivated. On the other hand, if you have too much of policies, administration, and supervision, that is where the issue with agile teams comes into play. Even before agile comes into play, high-performing teams generally hate too much supervision. They want to do their own thing. They want to be given a set target, and then they have their own ways to achieve the target or that goal. So it's that autonomy that agile teams or high-performing teams in general will want to go, right? So these are some of the things. So factors that will motivate people. Even if you don't do it, people are fine. But if you do it, it motivates people to achieve more, are called motivators. Things that if you don't do it, people will be demotivated. But if you do it, people don't necessarily feel more motivated. Those are what we call hygiene factors. It's like washing your hands. Washing your hands will make you safe from diseases. It does not make you a healthier person, right? So that's why it's called hygiene factors. So what we are looking at are really the motivators, the factors that really drive people to want to achieve more, and in the agile sense, how to be more team goal focused and self-motivated, have the initiative to work as a team to meet the team's goals. Some other factors, things like positivity. Positivity are factors whereby people are motivated by if they do A, they get a greater reward. That's what we call more positive inclined. Then there are people who are more negative inclined, lower scores for positivity. These are the people that are motivated in a different way. They are more thinking about punishment rather than reward. As in, if they are not able to achieve a certain goal, what are the bad consequences they will have? So that's the negative of the other side being positive. There's no right or wrong. It's just different ways of looking at things. Now, agile people, because we need them to be more self-motivated and more taking more initiative, we tend to want to go for people who are more positive inclined, as in if they do certain things, if they achieve certain things, they get a reward, rather than on the other hand, if they don't follow the right rules, if they don't meet the right targets, they get punished, and they want to avoid that punishment. So it's a certain aspect. Also, perceived control is a measurement of autonomy and control in the organization. Do they feel that if they want to do certain things, can they feel that they're empowered to do something? That's what we call perceived control. So if people maybe feel motivated if they find that everything they do, they need permission. Everything they do, they need clear instructions. If not, they can't do anything. Now, having clear rules is good, but if you have too much of it, as in, the difference between, we like to joke between difference between people in Hong Kong and people in Singapore. I'm from Singapore, by the way. So the rule about people in Hong Kong is you don't need to tell a Hong Konger what is allowable or this is not allowable. As long as something is not explicitly said as not allowable, people in Hong Kong tend to have initiative and get things done. Whereas people in Singapore are more passive, my countrymen, unfortunately. If you don't tell people that it's explicitly doable, allowable, they will not do anything, right? So you can say it's also a difference between a private enterprise, the corporate culture of a private enterprise, and a state-owned company sometimes. So that perceived control is people need to know the rule, as in if it's not explicitly said you cannot do certain thing, that means you can do it and just go do it. So that's how people have more perceived control, and they try to do some things as long as within limits of the organization rules and policies. We don't want to stifle people too much by having too many rules. right? So that's a perceived control part. Energy output, this goes together with ability output. People who feels that they are giving a lot of energy and they are giving a lot, they are utilizing a lot of their ability, they're using a lot of their talent in doing a job, tend to be more motivated. Now, if you have a lot of energy output, as I spend a lot of time and energy on my job, but my ability output is very low, what it means is I'm doing a lot of work, but on very low added value type of work. Things like things that can be replaced by AI or a machine. I don't feel that my talent, my abilities are being well utilized in that sense. So high energy output, low ability output, that's a big red flag, right? People are not utilizing their talents. The reverse sometimes we have different combinations. So sometimes it's also low energy output, but high ability output. What it means is they're utilizing their talent, but they don't feel that they are working enough. So they can be given more work to do or more scope of work to do, right? So if it's low energy output and high ability output. So we can look into how people tend to be motivated in different ways on an individual level.